Right now, as you're watching this video, there's a version of you living a completely different life. They took that job opportunity you talked yourself out of. They started that business you spent months planning but never launched. They're in the relationship you were too scared to pursue. The only difference between you and them, they didn't overthink it. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the psychology behind why overthinking isn't just a bad habit. It's a mental prison that's actively destroying your potential, your happiness, and your future. And the worst part, you might not even realize you're doing it. Welcome back to Psychology Decoded, where we decode the psychology of your mind. If this resonates, hit subscribe because we're diving deep. Let me ask you something. How many times have you replayed a conversation in your head for hours, analyzing every word, every pause, every facial expression? How many opportunities have you missed because you were too busy weighing every possible outcome? How many nights have you stayed awake, trapped in an endless loop of what-ifs? You're not alone. Studies show that 73% of adults aged 25 to 35 identify as chronic overthinkers. But here's what most people don't understand. Overthinking isn't just annoying. It's a psychological trap that rewires your brain, paralyzes your decision-making, and slowly erodes your ability to take action. Today, we're breaking down the neuroscience, the hidden dangers, and most importantly, how to break free. Let's get into it. First, let's be fair to your brain. Overthinking didn't develop to torture you. It evolved to protect you. 10,000 years ago, when your ancestors heard a rustling in the bushes, the ones who stopped and thought, is that a predator or just wind, survived. The ones who didn't think enough became lunch. Your brain's default mode is to analyze threats, predict outcomes, and keep you safe. So in small doses, analytical thinking is actually beneficial. It helps you anticipate problems before they happen, make well-informed decisions, learn from past mistakes, and plan for the future. This is what psychologists call productive reflection. And it's a sign of intelligence. In fact, research from the University of Toronto found that people with higher IQs are more prone to overthinking. Why? Because intelligent people can see more possibilities, more outcomes, more consequences. If you're watching this and you overthink, there's a good chance you're highly perceptive. You notice details others miss. You consider angles that never cross other people's minds. This can make you excellent at problem solving in complex situations. Avoiding obvious mistakes, strategic planning, and creative thinking. Your brain isn't broken. It's actually quite sophisticated. The problem isn't that you think too much. The problem is when thinking becomes a replacement for action. Here's the psychological hook that keeps you trapped. Overthinking gives you the illusion of control. When you analyze a situation from every angle, you feel like you're doing something productive. You feel like you're preparing. But psychologically, this is a defense mechanism called analysis paralysis. Your brain tricks you into believing that if you just think about it a little more, you'll find the perfect solution, the perfect moment, the risk-free option. But that moment never comes because it doesn't exist. And while you're stuck in your head, life is passing you by. So when is overthinking actually useful? When you're making high-stakes decisions with irreversible consequences, detecting red flags in relationships or business deals, learning from genuine mistakes, or planning complex projects. The key word here is actionable. If your thinking leads to a decision or action, it's productive. If it just loops endlessly with no resolution, you've crossed into dangerous territory. Now, here's where it gets scary. Chronic overthinking physically changes your brain. Neuroscience research shows that when you repeatedly engage in overthinking, you strengthen the neural pathways associated with rumination. It's like carving a deeper and deeper groove in your brain. The more you overthink, the easier it becomes to overthink, and the harder it becomes to stop. This is called neuroplasticity, and it works both ways. Your brain adapts to what you practice most. If you practice overthinking, you become a master overthinker. Even worse. Studies from Harvard Medical School found that chronic overthinkers have increased activity in the amygdala, the brain's fear center. This means you're literally training your brain to see threats everywhere, even when they don't exist. Let me tell you what's really happening when you overthink a decision. Psychologists call this decision fatigue. Every choice you agonize over depletes your mental energy. But here's the twist. Research from Columbia University found that people who overthink actually make worse decisions than people who decide quickly. Why? Because overthinking introduces too many variables. You start considering scenarios that have a 0.01% chance of happening. You give equal weight to rational concerns and irrational fears. You lose sight of what actually matters. Meanwhile, the person who made a quick decision, they've already learned from the outcome and moved forward. You're still stuck at the starting line. But the most destructive aspect of overthinking is its relationship with anxiety. Overthinking and anxiety feed each other in a vicious cycle. You overthink because you're anxious. Then, overthinking makes you more anxious, which makes you overthink even more. Clinical psychologist Dr. Susan Nolan-Hoxhamer spent 20 years researching this and found that chronic overthinkers are 3 times more likely to develop anxiety disorders, 4 times more likely to experience depression, at higher risk for insomnia and chronic stress, and more prone to physical health problems like heart disease. Your thoughts aren't just mental, they have real physical consequences. And perhaps the saddest part, overthinking steals your potential. Think about it. Every moment you spend overthinking is a moment you're not building your business, developing your skills, creating relationships, or living your life. The cost isn't just mental, it's measured in missed opportunities, abandoned dreams, and a life lived in your head instead of reality. Let me give you a real example. Sarah, a 28-year-old software developer, received 2 job offers. Offer A was a higher salary, prestigious company, but longer commute. Offer B was a lower salary, startup culture, work from home. A rational person would spend maybe 2 to 3 days weighing these options. Sarah spent 6 weeks. She made pro and con lists. She recalculated her budget 47 times. She asked 23 different people for advice. She researched the CEO's background, the company's 10-year projections, employee reviews going back 5 years. By the time she decided, both offers were rescinded. The companies couldn't wait anymore. This is what psychologists call maximizing behavior, the need to make the absolute perfect choice. Research shows maximizers are less happy than satisficers, people who choose good enough. Why? Because they're haunted by the phantom of the perfect choice they might have missed. Let's get technical for a moment. When you overthink, your brain gets stuck in what neuroscientists call the default mode network, the part of your brain that activates when you're not focused on the outside world. This network includes the medial prefrontal cortex for self-referential thinking, the posterior cingulate cortex for autobiographical memory, and the precuneus for self-reconsciousness. When this network is overactive, you're trapped in a simulation, constantly replaying the past or rehearsing the future. You're everywhere except the present moment. Brain scans of chronic overthinkers show this network fires constantly, like a car engine that won't turn off. It burns mental fuel 24/7, leaving you exhausted even when you haven't done anything physical. Here's something most people miss. Overthinking is often rooted in perfectionism. You're not just trying to make a good decision. You're trying to make the perfect decision. You're not just trying to avoid failure. You're trying to guarantee success. But perfectionism is based on a fundamental lie that perfect exists. Psychologist Dr. Thomas Greenspon found that perfectionism is linked to fear of judgment, low self-worth, need for external validation, and childhood conditioning. Often, overthinkers grew up in environments where mistakes had consequences. Maybe your parents criticized you. Maybe you were praised only for achievements. So your brain learned, think longer, plan more, avoid all mistakes. But that strategy worked in childhood. It doesn't work in adult life, where action beats perfection every time. So how do you actually stop overthinking? Let me give you practical strategies. First, use the Arc of October 10 rule, developed by Susie Welch. When you're overthinking a decision, ask yourself, how will I feel about this in 10 minutes? How will I feel about this in 10 months? How will I feel about this in 10 years? Most things you overthink won't matter in 10 years. Hell, they won't matter in 10 months. This gives you perspective. Second, implement the 2-minute decision rule. If a decision is reversible and low stakes, give yourself 2 minutes maximum to decide. Then commit. What to eat for lunch? 2 minutes. Which movie to watch? 2 minutes. Whether to text that person? 2 minutes. Train your brain that not every decision deserves an hour of analysis. Finally, remember this. Action produces information that thinking cannot. You can spend 100 hours thinking about starting a business. Or you can spend 1 hour starting it and learning real lessons. You can overthink a conversation for days, or you can have it in 5 minutes and get actual answers. Your brain will resist this because action feels riskier than thinking. But here's the truth. Inaction is the biggest risk of all. Every day you overthink is a day you're not building the life you want. Progress beats perfection. Imperfect action beats perfect planning. Always. So here's your challenge. The next time you catch yourself overthinking something, and you will, probably in the next hour, I want you to stop and ask, is this thinking productive, or am I just avoiding action? And if it's the latter, take the action. Any action, even a small one. Because the version of you living that better life, they stopped thinking and started doing. Now, if this video opened your eyes to how your own mind works, the next one you need to watch is right here. Because we're diving into the psychology of why you procrastinate, and trust me, it's connected to everything we just talked about. Hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and I'll see you in the next one. Stop overthinking, start living.